One thing the Resident Evil series can't afford to ever do is to stop numbering their main entries, because for every Resident Evil 2, 3, 4, there's like 5 spin-offs about God knows what, with all sorts of subtitles branching off into different sub-series and so on. If Resident Evil ever does a Doom 2016 style reboot, we're screwed, because it's going to be impossible to tell what's a full-on main game and what's the multiplayer spin-off anymore, which on a day like today, the 25th of the 12th, is really going to be a ball ache for some of those little tykes out there. I mean, how many kids have probably asked for the new Resident Evil for Christmas in the past, only to run downstairs in the morning and receive Resident Evil Gaiden on Game Boy or some shit. So today we're going to take a look at the very first Resident Evil spin-off title, the infamous Resident Evil Survivor, released for the PlayStation 1 in the year 2000.
Resident Evil.
Oh, sorry, yeah, I meant Resident Evil Survivor. Gonna have to slam an accent on that E like the Pokémon logo. Survivor is a weird merger of classic Resident Evil exploratory slow-paced survival horror gameplay and light gun shooter. I'm assuming someone at Capcom saw House of the Dead and was like, we got zombies, let's just do one of those, slap that shit on Biohazard. The result is dodgy as hell. It's Resident Evil in first person, which is funny because that was originally what they wanted to try and do with Resident Evil 1. But thank God we didn't end up in that timeline, because in first person, as you can see here, you can't have pre-rendered backgrounds. So the game loses a lot of that Resi detail, plus all the zombies are recycled from Resi 2. There, the camera was angled kind of far away, so you didn't really get like a really close and personal look at them, but that ain't the case here. Big and blocky blokes right up in your face looking pretty bad. The game can't quite decide how much Resi it wants to be and how much light gun shooter it wants to be. On the one hand, you have infinite handgun bullets so you can shoot away action style, but in accordance with Resi games of the time, you can't manually reload outside of the menu. You gotta wait for your bullets to run out. Usually, in a light gun game, you choose when best to reload mid-fight so you can time things right and not be caught off guard without bullets in the heat of the moment. But here it's a drag because you gotta go all the way into the menu to do it. Since you have infinite handgun bullets though, if you want to refill, you might as well just fire at the frickin' wall until the reload kicks in. Now this is that classic careful and considered Resident Evil resource management I remember. The gun automatically reloads when you walk through a door anyway, so if you're that laissez-faire about it, why don't you just give me a reload button? You walk around slow and methodically, like in real Resi, but the game is now straight up gunslinging action from room to room. You physically move slow, but the pace of the game is breakneck. You're constantly moving from location to location, revelation to revelation. It's like riding a really slow children's roller coaster, but someone's drawn speed lines on the walls to make it look like you're going super fast. The game expects you to collect items and keys to open new doors, but usually everything that's locked is unlocked by something one room over, trying to keep that fast pace up by having the environment take no thought to navigate. You get handed a weird item and you think, oh, time to examine this like a classic Resident Evil game, puzzle this one out, see what it does. But you examine the clock winder and it's like, ah yes, it appears to be the winder for a clock, thanks very much for that. Why does this game even have a check item function like the other Resident Evil games? Hilariously though, the US version of the game isn't even compatible with a light gun, so D-pad it was. Without a light gun, you're essentially playing a first-person shooter where you can't look up or down and you can't strafe from side to side. The camera sort of light locks on to whatever you're shooting at and kind of jiggles over to it. So from top to bottom, this seems like pretty much the worst idea ever, but as a fan, you gotta play it, because this is a canonical story, my friends. Oh yes, Resident Evil 0 references it. This is the real deal, another chapter of the illustrious Resident Evil saga. So you better strap yourself in and get ready for the story about this guy with amnesia.
But I just can't remember.
These PS1 as heck children.
Oh! Let me go!
Your brother?
Leave her alone!
The evil commander's mother?
Listen to your mother. I want you to leave Umbrella. I want you to stop performing those terrible crimes and just come back home.
You know, if I was the head of the Umbrella Child Experimentation Zombie Lab, I don't think I'd still be giving my mum my work number. Survivor takes place on Sheena Island, where a city basically owned by Umbrella conducts horrible experiments on children. An operation handled by the current and ruthless Commander Vincent, who our amnesiac protagonist infers himself to be.
No, this is me. I am Vincent.
Of course this is Umbrella, so an outbreak happened, and now they've sent in commandos to eliminate witnesses, or one commando and his weird platoon of gorilla men. What am I looking at here? For a light gun Resident Evil game, the notes you pick up here are like the longest in series history. Every janitor and child in this universe scribing their crappy life story onto discarded day planners. Well shit, is that a Mr. X tyrant from Resi 2? Geez, not much fanfare here. Just here he is, walking down the street. And somehow he's back in the next room. That's way more efficient than last time. Also impossible. Unless there's like, multiple ones this time. Whoa, and now I'm in a cool club. Oh yeah, get the party started. Wait a minute, Heaven's Night? Just like Silent Hill 2. Mr. X is like 20 times more persistent than he ever was in Resi 2. There he shows up like 4 or 5 times the whole game. Here he's like in every room. Yeah, Resident Evil Survivor does not mess around. Here there's like 4 tyrants in this one area. Let me just remind you, this was like one of the main bosses of Resident Evil 2. Here he's everywhere. Something about all this Resident Evil iconography in this decidedly janky game is just weird. Like some Chinese plug-and-play TV game version of Resident Evil that rips off the sound effects, assets, enemies, and general premise of Resi but has no official relation. But no, it's written on the cover, it's real, it's Resident Evil in bold red letters. Capcom really went in on this one, and in the year 2000, when the Resident Evil series was considerably smaller, who knows how many people probably got this hoping for quality at that point. Anyway, near the end, our protagonist finds out he in fact isn't the evil Commander Vincent, but a spy named Ark sent into the city to investigate Umbrella.
That's right. At the request of my friend, Leon S. Kennedy, I came here to investigate.
Oh, Leon sent you in, huh? Yeah, I'd like to remind everyone that after ending Resi 2 by proclaiming it's time to take out Umbrella, Leon's only real contribution to that effort before the stock market took care of it was sending this guy alone to an Umbrella-controlled city to lose his memory in a helicopter crash. Clearly, Kennedy was too indisposed to do much work of his own at the time, probably getting his hair dyed at Supercuts or whatever. As for the end of the game, we get a new slender Bishonen tyrant, all yowied and ready to go for those dojins no one's gonna draw because nobody liked this game. Yeah, as expected, he has multiple forms. Yeah, so I kind of ran out of big gun ammo, so I'm reduced to using the infinite pistol stuff here, and it's taken a while. Yeah, you know, you decide to review a little dumb, silly game quickly for your Christmas video, and you know it's all fun and games until you run into some annoying, never-ending shit like this. You know, people review a movie, they just watch the movie. You know, they review anime, they just watch the anime. Maybe they go on Wikipedia, look at an interview. Wow, so much effort. They never stumble into this shit. They never end up awake at 2 a.m. running back and forth across a helicopter pad. Escape. Explosion. All is well. Okay, I'm done. Who's responsible for this game, anyway? Ah, okay, George. Yeah, very clever man, keeping his surname off the credits. Nice job. Survivor isn't a very good game, but it's not the worst thing ever. It ranks you at the end, you can replay with your old weapons, go through different routes to see alternate endings and story beats, so I'd absolutely put it higher than something like Overblood. And hey, the Survivor line got a few more games, so maybe they get better. Yeah, right. I do this every Christmas. I tease some more shit, but it's been like, what, 3 years since Onimusha 1? Yeah, you know, whatever. Just enjoy your presents, enjoy your food, enjoy your day, kids. You know, sometimes this stuff gets to you, sometimes it weighs down on you, sometimes you're putting a lot of work into making a video, and sure, you use the term Lovecraftian as shorthand to refer to a spooky monster in Resident Evil 2. You know, I get it, he's not technically from the ocean, he's not technically, you know, this unsightly thing he can't even look at. Whatever, you get what I mean, right? You get that I'm saying he's a spooky monster, he's a weird, creepy monster. You know, Lovecraft, he made up a bunch of adjectives, so I'm gonna use his name to describe whatever I want. Who's gonna stop me, you?